It's time for Waking Up with Wesley. Today's forecast and weather-wise discussion with WLOX First Alert Weather's senior meteorologist, Wesley Williams.
Waking Up with Wesley is sponsored by Exclusive Auto Brokers. For the best deals on wheels, visit Exclusive Auto Brokers on Beatline Road in Long Beach.
Hello there, South Mississippi, and thank you for waking up with Wesley. I'm senior meteorologist Wesley Williams. So we have finally had it, the strong cold front moving in. I'm hoping that you're paying attention to the weather forecast as we go into today because we are in for some chilly changes. I do really appreciate that you have chosen to check the forecast because that puts you a step ahead of everyone else. Today you'll be able to walk around comfortably in a jacket or a sweater because I'm preparing you and giving you the heads up and giving you the first alert that you're going to want some long sleeves to walk around in today. You'll look at a bunch of other people in short sleeves. They'll be shivering and kind of trotting along trying to fight the chill, but you are prepared because you are checking the forecast, and I truly appreciate that. So as we take a look at what to expect, it's a windy day ahead and it will be kind of chilly too. It will not warm up today. That's what we are used to. So far this season, we've had chilly mornings, but we've at least had some nice afternoons. This is an afternoon that is not going to be on the warm side. So without that warm up that we're used to, that is going to surprise many, many people. And it's the beginning of our little late October cool snap, which will continue today, tonight, tomorrow night, parts of Halloween Friday. And then we're kind of going to see temperatures turn a little milder by the upcoming weekend. And by the way, for Halloween morning, could be rather chilly, almost on the cold side. We'll take a look at those Friday morning temperatures coming up. But first of all, let's take a look at today. So we had some rain earlier this morning. If you're just waking up, you don't have to worry about the umbrella. You won't need that today. Rain chances have already hit 10%, if not 0%, even though if you were up about 4 hours ago, it was actually pouring down rain in a pretty good bit across parts of South Mississippi. Yeah, it's all gone now. So there's a look at your planner for Wednesday. We're starting off with rather cool conditions in the 50s, and it will be breezy. These temperatures are about the same temperatures that we had yesterday morning, but we've added that breeze, and so that makes the air have a little bit more bite to it. As we go to this afternoon, look at those temperatures. Where'd the 70s go? I don't think we're going to be able to do that today. Yesterday afternoon, we had 70s. This afternoon, we're talking middle to upper 60s at best, and that's if we get enough sunshine. If we wind up turning a little cloudier in some places, it might be difficult to hit these forecasted temperatures. So we're in that time of year, especially on the day of a cold front. If it gets too cloudy, it can be difficult for the high temperature to hit what is forecast. We've got a lot of cold air moving in behind this strong cold front today. So many places across the South, across the Gulf Coast will be impacted by cooler, if not chilly and windy weather heading into today. Let's take it through the next 6 hours. Your hour by hour shows those temperatures gradually getting out of the 50s and into the middle and upper 60s. So, even once we get to the warmest part of the day around 2 o'clock, it's only going to be around 64 for a place like Wiggins-Perkinston, maybe only around 68, 69 for a place like Gulfport, Biloxi, Pascagoula. But of course, temperature just half the story. Talking winds, look at those wind speeds. For places that are inland, we're thinking 10 to 20 miles per hour today. For places along the coast, it might get a little breezier. Those winds from the west and northwest, they could be between 15 and 25 miles per hour on the coast, and the gusts could go even higher than that. We are probably just shy of wind advisory criteria on the Mississippi coast. So when you look at this map, you look at our coast here, we are actually not underneath the wind advisory, but much of our region is, and this includes central Mississippi, western Mississippi, other parts of our state under a wind advisory today, all of Louisiana, all of Arkansas, and much of Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and even portions of Missouri underneath that wind advisory. And the wind advisory means that strong winds are expected Those could blow around some of the objects on your property. Those could also cause travel to be impacted if you're especially if you're driving a high profile, also known as a taller vehicle, like a big truck or a van or something like that. So that's something you may want to consider if you're traveling outside of our Mississippi coast, but it appears we might be just shy of that wind advisory criteria. It's really close though for our local area. Look at these hour-by-hour wind gust forecast numbers. We're looking at wind gust speeds pretty close to 30 miles per hour at any given moment today. Sometimes they could go a little under 30, sometimes it could go a little over 30 miles per hour. So most of the day here on the windy side, but perhaps the windiest part of our Wednesday could be between noon and 6 p.m. basically. Here's a look at those wind gust speeds. You'll notice the map for Wednesday afternoon shows most areas with wind gust speeds approaching 30 miles per hour. And again, those winds coming in from the north and west. So plan on a strong breeze on Wednesday. As we fast forward to tomorrow, the wind gust speeds will still be breezy, but maybe not as high as Wednesday. So you're noticing on Thursday, those numbers approaching 20, if not 25 miles per hour. So a little less breezy tomorrow. And then finally, Friday for Halloween, a treat. The winds are finally expected to relax. And while that makes it a little more comfortable, it actually will be one of the things that allows for the temperatures to fall more rapidly by Friday morning. We'll talk more about that now as we go into kind of your temperature planner into the next 48 hours. So here's today. We're forecasting partly cloudy conditions. Temperatures in the morning in the cool 50s, temperatures in the afternoon mid-upper 60s. You know, if you're lucky, you might go 68, 69 in some spots on the coast, but I do expect it to be pretty hard to hit 70 for today. Now tonight, we do expect perhaps an increase in cloud cover. So if it's partly cloudy, if it's mostly cloudy, that's actually helpful overnight to keep the temperature from getting too cold. In order for it to cool off rapidly, you need a clear sky. We won't have that tonight. In order for it to cool off rapidly, you need calm wind. We also won't have that tonight. It will be breezy. So because of those two things, the clouds, the winds, that keeps our overnight temperatures from completely crashing out. We're expecting overnight lows to mainly be in the lower 50s. Some spots could come close to around 50. As long as we get the forecasted clouds, as long as we get the forecasted winds. That's what the temperature should be. All right, taking you to tomorrow, what's your Thursday looking like? It's going to be another partly cloudy day. We might start the day with a good amount of clouds and then maybe see a few peaks of sun in the afternoon. Our temperatures are going to be very dependent on how much sunshine we get. If we are getting a partly cloudy day with some sun, some clouds, then we should be able to make it to the middle 60s for the high tomorrow. But that's our best case scenario. If we get too many clouds, more clouds than expected, then we won't ever make it to the middle 60s and the temperature will be cooler than forecast. But it will be dry, no rain, and still breezy, but not as windy as today. And then we finally get to that cold time. This is the kind of the culmination of this late October cool snap. Tomorrow night, Thursday night, especially after midnight, which is also known as Friday morning. So there you can see those temperatures dropping overnight, and they're falling rapidly because we're expecting the clearest skies heading into tomorrow night. We're expecting the calmest winds heading into tomorrow night. So the clear sky, a calm wind, those are two ingredients that really help for a rapidly cooling temperature recipe. And that's what we are forecasting. So some places inland, well, first of all, some places on the coast could make it to the lower 40s tomorrow night after midnight. Again, this is Friday morning, right? But then for areas that are inland, that's when it gets really on the cold side. We are forecasting a low of 40, and I would not be surprised to see a few spots go to 39, maybe 38. Here's the map. Well, let me take you to the map first. Here's the map for Friday morning. And just like I thought, you can see Loosedale down to 39 Friday morning. So there's going to be some places that are to the north of I-10 where maybe you come down to 40 or 39. I would also expect that to happen along the Pascagoula River, even south of I-10 near Gaucher, Pascagoula. Sometimes the cold river drainage along the Pascagoula River drainage, cold temperatures can go farther south than you think. They just follow along the riverbed, and they could go right down to near Gaucher, Pascagoula. You might get some of those temperatures close to 40, close to 39 Friday morning. If you're closer to the bays, the bay waters are warmer, and that's going to limit some of the cooling. So places near the body of water near Bay St. Louis and Pass Christian, places near the body of water, Biloxi Bay, near Biloxi, D'Iberville, St. Martin, Ocean Springs, that's where we might find the least cool numbers on the map. It's still chilly, but it won't be the coldest of the area. So that's kind of your range. The less cold areas by the bays, the more cold areas mainly north of I-10 and mainly near the Pascagoula River drainage. So that gets you through that cold Friday morning. That's the culmination of this late October cool snap. And that kind of spells it out for you that we kind of walked you through yesterday, this late October cool snap. As you can see, there we are today on Wednesday, the afternoon high, mid and upper 60s at best. And that's along with quite a bit of wind going into today. And then there we are tonight after midnight, which is also called Thursday morning. Temperatures are primarily going to drop to around the lower 50s. You know, if there's a few spots that manage to get less wind, a few spots that manage to get fewer clouds, maybe you can go toward 46, but I'm almost thinking of kind of almost adjusting that, frankly, and maybe I will, because I'm less confident about the 46 because I think we are going to see a decent amount of clouds in the area tonight. So I'm going to, well, not 86. Let's change that to 48 to be a little bit more accurate, a little bit more realistic. So, yeah, really not going to see him dropping too much overnight tonight because I do think we're going to see a decent amount of clouds, and that helps to limit overnight cooling. And then you take a look at tomorrow, still breezy again. Temperatures will be stuck in the middle 60s, and there will be a good amount of clouds, I think, in the first part of the day. And any amount of sun that we limit is going to, limit how warm the temperatures can get during the day. So middle 60s at best. And then overnight, tomorrow night into Friday morning, when we get the clouds to completely clear the whole area, when we get the winds to completely calm, yeah, it's going to be pretty chilly, if not downright cold, with some spots possibly approaching the upper 30s. And some of you may have avoided making the switch from air conditioner to the home heater so far this season, but that's only because we've been able to get some warm days in between our chilly mornings. But this is a time in which there aren't that many warm days here, right? Our warm days are kind of cool. So you get a cool day, a chilly night, another cool day, and a cold night. And that combination of all of that, I think by the time we get to Thursday night, some of you will be strongly considering making that switch to home heater, at least for the moment. You won't need it. If you can tough it out Thursday night, that's kind of the worst of it. Because once we get past Friday morning, the temperatures won't be quite as chilly. That's going to kind of be the end of the cool snap. You go to Halloween Friday with some sun, and we are expecting very sunny weather on Halloween Friday. I think our temperature should make it back to about 70. And then over the weekend, it gets a little bit milder, and we should have temperatures into the 70s. Now, there is some new information today that is suggesting a rain chance over the weekend. Saturday, not so much, but instead, as we go to Sunday, there could be a passing system to our west, and maybe some of us get clipped by some of those rain showers. Some of that might linger into Sunday night and next Monday as well. But overall, at least we're seeing some more 70s during the day by the time we get to the weekend, which won't be as much of a cool snap. This weekend, a quick reminder, we do fall back from daylight saving time to standard time, which will be, for us morning folks, a real big help because it gets our sunrise an hour earlier so that we don't have to wait so late for it to brighten up in the morning. For night owls, not the best since it makes the sunset a little earlier and that means it gets darker earlier in the evenings. But, you know, for us morning folks, good news to help us out with a brighter start to our day. Well, that'll pretty much do it for this edition of Waking Up with Wesley. I've been Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams. We'll see you again next time.
Waking Up with Wesley has been sponsored by Exclusive Auto Brokers. For the best deals on wheels, visit Exclusive Auto Brokers on Beatline Road in Long Beach.